Breaking Bad, episode 508, Gliding All Over. Um, Kind of a different episode, I thought, than usual. It kind of felt a little bit like a season ender. Um, it's because it's kind of wrapping up, loose ends. It's hard to explain, but it lacked the usual intensity of a Breaking Bad episode. So in that way, it didn't feel like a finale or like any episode of Breaking Bad because they all usually have that intensity, that danger, that like how are we gonna get out of this situation. And instead, this episode just kind of let us sit there and realize how much we actually care about these characters, and it just let them be characters for a while. Let Walt get a little bit of his humanity back, so it was weird like that. But it covers a lot of ground, especially in terms of time. I'm pretty sure like months pass in this episode. You go from I didn't think they were even going to take out the 9 guys. I thought that would be something that played out in the second half. But Walter comes up with like, "Hey, I want this all done in 2 minutes," and you get this crazy fucking montage of all these guys dying. It goes from that to him figuring out his new distribution plan, which is using the Czech Republic and using Lydia, even though he was going to kill her. To him amassing his fortune. And you have to remember at the beginning of the season, he was broke. He owed Jesse money. And so it covered a lot. And it covered, him deciding finally he was done with it. And it looked like he really was done at the time. Although there's a little twinkle and there's a little look between him and Skyler at the end where Hank, they're all sitting there, they're having fun. It's happy times again. As far as we know, the cancer hasn't come back. He went in for the test or whatever, and he didn't seem like the cancer had come back. Although I thought that's what he was going to say to Jesse when he went to go see him, like, "Hey, the cancer came back." Anyways, and then they're sitting there in the yard, and Hank starts talking about, "Oh, I should make some more Schrader Brow. Should brew up a batch of beer." And everyone's like, "Yeah, it's a good idea." He's like, "Well, don't deny what the public wants or whatever." And then that's when Walt looks at Skyler like, you know, like, it was like he was thinking, maybe I should go back to it. But you saw all the money he had. There's no reason at that point, even by Walter's like, "I'm in the empire business," and you know, whole thing. At some point, it's like, dude, you have the money now. You have your empire. I think a lot of this episode was Walter like sitting back for a minute and thinking, like, yeah, it's fun being Heisenberg, but you're always in really dangerous situations. You are killing people a lot, and there was a lot of him just sitting there thinking. Beginning of the episode, he's looking at the fly. The part where they're planning the murder, he's looking at the stupid painting on in the hotel room wall. He's like, "Where do these hotel room paintings come from?" um, it was a lot of him just like thinking, coming to terms with like, maybe I am fucked up. Maybe as much fun as it is building an empire, at some point you already won, Walt. You got your money. So that was what a lot of the episode was. Even though it did cover a lot of ground, I mean, it covers a lot of ground, especially in terms of time. But it was just like a more quiet, introspective episode than we're used to from Breaking Bad. Not a bad thing, really. Although when we were getting near the end, I was like, something has to happen, or like, what the fuck? Like, I was happy to have a cliffhanger at the end here because I was just like, dude, you can't just end the mid-season like this and make us wait a fucking year. Which, God, I'll get to that in a minute. But then the Walt Whitman quote comes into play where they're having this little get together at Walt's house, and Hank goes to take a shit, and he pulls out the book. Now I'm a little fuzzy on the source of the book. I forgot. Like, did he find it in Gail's place or something? Is that it? I forgot what it was. And I know that they did the little flashback at the end where they were originally talking. I remember Walt going, "You got me." I don't know. Let me know exactly what was up with the book. It just seems weird that Gail would have a Walt Whitman book, but then writing it like a little note to Walter White saying that, you're my inspiration and whatever. It just seemed weird, but let me know the origins of the book. I know it was Gail that wrote that. And I know, obviously, then, Hank probably hasn't thought about it for a while. He was joking the first time he said to Walter White, like, what could WW mean? Walter White. But whatever the source or whatever the meaning or whatever, it dawns on him again, and he thinks about it again. And probably this time is when it starts to make a lot, like, it finally clicked. Walt's a brilliant chemist. All of a sudden he has enough money, like, to buy his own business. You're gonna see Hank in the beginning of the next season going like none of the stuff like makes sense. He's like, just consider for a second. Walt had a gambling problem that we never knew about before, and then somehow he wins a shit ton of money gambling. Which how many people do that ever? Why all of a sudden Skylar wants the kids out of the house? So many things. Why did we get into that accident going on the way to check out Gus's place, the laundromat? Like, all these things. And now that's clicked, he's going to be like, man, what if it is Walt? And so he put it together. Cool ending. Other than that, though, I mean, I don't know what to say. There were 2 great montages in the episode. One is when they kill all the fucking guys in 2 minutes, and it's playing like this happy song, and it's cutting between these guys getting very brutally and violently killed in prison, and Walt checking his watch, walking around checking his watch, waiting for the call. That was a good montage. And then there was another great, brilliant cooking montage. They always have great cooking montages, but this is one of the best they've done in the series. The whole, it's trending on Twitter already. Crystal Blue Persuasion. That's great. I can't believe they haven't used that yet, but that was just a great fit. Crystal Blue Persuasion. And then, like, just the things they did in it, like, when they did the flyover shot where you're seeing the different houses getting tented, I thought that was a nice touch. All that stuff. I thought, it seemed like Skylar and Walter are kind of on the mend. But, they're, as I said, this is an episode that was just kind of let the characters breathe. And I thought the scene between Walt and Jesse was really poignant and really kind of sad and a bummer. And it's reminding us that this show is about to end, and this season or mid-season's about to end, and how far they've come. And you see Jesse, and it breaks your heart. You're like, God damn it, is he using again? Like, all you saw was the bong sitting there, but if he's just smoking pot, whatever. But if he's actually using again, that really sucks. And what was with the gun? Was he thinking of killing himself? Was he thinking of shooting Walt? Like, what was he thinking of killing himself if the cops showed up? He's like freaking out. And then Walt just says, I left something for you. And it's 2 big bags full of money. And like, that's that moment. Like, Aaron Paul's such a great actor. Like, the way he plays like these very intense emotions. Imagine how you would feel if this guy who you were in a business with and you broke it off, and then he drops off all this money and you're on the verge of killing yourself. Or I don't think Jesse had any money at that point because he walked away. He didn't even get the $5 million. And he just, he walked away and said, fuck it, but he was probably living on the edge. So that was just a really poignant, that whole scene. Other than that, I mean, I don't have to say it. Fucking Hank figured it out. I thought he'd figure it out a little sooner. But, the rest of the season, we don't get to see it next year. God knows when, but everything I've heard indicates that it doesn't start up again until the summer, which is fucking stupid. I mean, I could take a couple months break. That's fine. But dude, you're gonna make us wait a year to see the final 8 episodes. That seems kind of really shitty. I'm sorry. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I'm not happy about it. Uh, I'd be perfectly fine seeing the next one next week. You know what I mean? Like, but if I had to wait till like January, cool, whatever. The holidays are just gonna blur by me anyways. I work in retail. Next thing you know, Breaking Bad's back. But I have to go all the way through winter and spring and a whole year. Fuck you. Really pisses me off. But as for what do you think will happen? I don't know. My predictions so far were kind of right. You knew Hank was going to find out, so then you're gonna have that play out. Uh, but then was Jesse really going to find out Walter betrayed him? I don't know. I don't see how at this point how that will come into play. It's all over. But all we know is at some point Walt's going to need a machine gun for whatever reason. Is he going to take on the DEA? Like, what the fuck is he doing? Does he get back into cooking? Do you guys think he'll get back into cooking? I don't know. I don't see why he would, but there was that little spark in his eye. I'm really kind of just like, where the fuck is it going to go from here? You know? If he's out, then he's out. Well, there's Hank. But Walt's thought of ways to get out of so many other things. But what if Hank gets it around the office that he thinks it's his brother-in-law, and then there's no way. Then he's just under investigation. He has to keep shit under wraps. But if they start digging into things like, storage facilities, stuff like that. I don't know. All I can tell you right now is I'm bummed the fuck out that we gotta wait a year to see the series end. It's a real bummer, man. Real fucking bummer. Anyways, I don't know what I'll be doing a video next. There's not a lot of movies coming out. I've seen a couple. I don't know if I feel like talking about them. I don't really feel like doing The Walking Dead next season. I don't feel like doing Sons of Anarchy. I'm gonna watch them, but I don't feel like doing discussions on them. I'll be honest, man. The whole not being able to set up AdSense thing is kind of pisses me off, kind of a lot. I know I said, oh, I wouldn't quit because of that, and I'm not saying I'm gonna quit doing YouTube videos, but at some point where it's I don't even have the opportunity to get anything out of it except for the discussion. But I get that other ways too. I have friends that watch the shows, and I have I have 2 podcasts. I get to talk a lot about video games and movies all the time, and just the fact that honestly, it just really pissed me off that I've gone back and forth about 15 emails with fucking people from YouTube, and they just check this link, and I'm like, how many times do I have to fucking tell you that I've done everything I can on my end and something is wrong and you need to help me fix it? Could you at least just remove my application so I could try doing it again? And they're like, you can remove your application. And they give me a link and I go there and I try it and it doesn't let me do it. And it's just anyways, enough about that. I don't give a shit. I'm just saying, might be see you later for a little while. But as always, thanks for watching, and let me know your thoughts on the mid-season finale and where you think it'll go. All that shit. All that shit I asked you to tell me about. Please tell me about. Look forward to the discussion. And talk to you guys later.